Cowbird by Jae Ess. Chapter 22. The Shootout. My sandwich comes served on a chipped plate, with a little less meat than I was expecting. The au jus for the French dip is lukewarm and bland, making for a disappointing dining experience, but it was my idea to stop so I don't complain. Across from me, Hugh eats his meal quickly with a severe glower, still watching over my shoulder. "You know, this isn't exactly the atmosphere I imagined for our first date," I complain. "Sorry, honey," he murmurs. "But it'll be a worse experience if you get shot in the back." I grimace. "So romantic." "Hurry and finish your meal so we can get out of here." Quickly, I dunk the last of my sandwich in the au jus and stuff it in my mouth. Hugh reaches in his pocket to lay down $1.25 for our meal, and he quickly ushers me out of the diner. On our way, we pass the waitress, standing quite close to the phone. She watches us go with cold, mistrusting eyes. Back in the car, Hugh orders me to get down as he begins driving out of town. "Who do you think she called?" I ask. "Let's hope they were friendly." I wrap my arms around my middle, suddenly chilled. Then I remember the blanket. "You have enough gas to get us to Solaria?" I ask as I situate it over myself. "Should be just enough in the tank. If not, I've got extra in the trunk." We drive in tense silence, the cheerful mood from before gone. Overhead, the gloomy November sky begins spitting rain. An hour passes and it's pouring. As we round a bend, a man in an oil slicker flags us down with a lantern. Hugh slows the car, drives up to him at a snail's pace. "Stay down, Francis. Cover your face." I do as he says. Hugh rolls down the window. "What's the trouble?" I hear him ask. "Road washed out ahead," replies the man. Is it my imagination, or does his voice carry just the faintest Kurzrift accent? "Is there another way around?" "Where are you headed?" "The capital." Silence. Then Hugh's voice, almost playful. "You looking for something in my back seat?" Before the man can answer, I hear a gunshot. I scream. Next thing I know, the wheels of the car are speeding out from beneath us. "Stay down," Hugh barks the order. "What about the washout?" I cry. "Pray it was a bluff. And hang on," he says, and the car crashes through the makeshift barrier. I hear popping sounds outside the car, and suddenly our vehicle swerving in the mud, out of control. I hear Hugh curse, and I realize they've taken out our tires. Somehow, Hugh manages to pull the car to a stop perpendicularly in the middle of the road. "Get out! Driver's side! Keep your head down!" Using the car as a barrier, Hugh's got his pistol out. He rises momentarily to get a glimpse of the Kurzrift agent's position, and he ducks back down. "3 of them." "Can you kill them?" "Piece of cake," he says, as more shots ring out. Then he jumps up and fires twice before ducking back down. Tucked up against the tire, I squeeze my eyes shut and pray. They fire some more, and Hugh gets off an answering shot. Bullets whiz past his head. If just one of them hits— "Give me your gun," he demands, holding out his hand. A little frantically, I pull out my grandfather's revolver and pass it to him. While he's shooting, I reach inside the car to open the bag with the money and the spare bullets. By the time he's shot his 6th round with the revolver, I'm ready with the load. "Well done, Mrs. Newman," he murmurs as he shoves them inside the chamber. "Be careful, Hugh." My bodyguard rises for the final time to get off one last shot, and the firing stops. After the deafening sound of the gunshots, I hardly hear the noise of the rain pouring all around me. "Is that the last of them?" "I think so. Wait here while I go check it out." "Hugh." "I'll be careful, honey," he says, and he presses a sudden, savage sort of kiss to my mouth. Then he flashes me a grin that very nearly makes me forget how close we were to death 30 seconds ago. He was careful going around the car. Faintly I can hear his footsteps as he crosses the space between our vehicles, zigzagging through the rain. I hold my breath, waiting for him to give the signal. Then, a gunshot. My blood runs cold. Another shot. I scream. Hugh! I don't stop to consider my own life. If Hugh's dead, there's no hope for me anyway. I leave the safety of the barrier and run to him, heart hammering in my chest, feet slipping in the mud. God, please! I find Hugh in the mud, leaned against the Kurzrift car, hand pressed against his right shoulder, fingers welling with blood. Hugh! I skid to a stop in front of him. One wasn't quite dead, he huffs. Is now. God, Hugh! It's all right. Won't kill me. Might need you to drive, though. Me? You can do it. He encourages me with a pale-lipped smile. Was careful with my aim. Didn't damage their car. I understand his meaning quickly enough. We'll have to take their car after all the damage the Ford sustained. Doing my best to ignore the dead bodies, I help Hugh off the ground and around to the passenger side of the car. He gets in the front seat and collapses against it. Running back to the ruined Ford, I grab the bag with the money, the blanket, first aid kit and flashlight, and the miraculously intact gas can. I stash it all in the back seat of the Kurtz car with the exception of the first aid kit and the blanket, which I take with me to the front seat. Taking off my cloche hat, I press it to Hugh's shoulder to stop the bleeding. There's not much else you can do, he says after I get the blanket on him, tears of helplessness in my eyes. This'll close up on its own. In the meantime, just get us to Solaria. I nod determinedly, wiping the tears from my eyes with my arm. Then I come around to get in behind the wheel. I'm not sure I can do this, I say, having a mild panic attack as I look at all the gauges and levers. You've got this. Start with the brake, that pedal down there. Hang on. My glasses are fogging up and I can't see. I pull them off to clean them hastily with my sleeve, doing my best not to fall all to pieces. All right. Tell me again. With remarkable patience given his state, Hugh guides me through the motions of driving. A few minutes later, we're clipping along the muddy road at a steady 25 miles an hour. It's so intense, it's all I can do not to cry. But being strong and pulling myself together is the only choice I've got. Hugh risked everything to bring me this far. I can't let him down now. It's another 9 straight hours of driving before we reach the outskirts of Solaria. Hugh falls in and out of consciousness as we bounce along the road, but he makes an effort now to stay awake, especially amidst the increased traffic. I'm frantic and exhausted by the long day, but his steady instructions help me keep my head amidst this incredibly tense situation. That's the safe house just ahead on the right. Pull into the drive, that's it. Hugh guides me in putting the car in park when a shadowy figure appears to knock at the window and I yelp in alarm. Easy, he says. That'll be Ollie. Anxiously, I roll down the window to reveal a bald, rain-soaked middle-aged man. Ollie? You must be the princess. Hugh's been shot, I say, dispensing with the pleasantries to get out of the car on wobbly legs, while the other man wastes no time in running around to the passenger's side. Hell, Bailey, mutters Ollie. Cheers. You've looked better. Looked worse too, mate. Let's get you inside. I've got this, Your Highness, says Ollie when I attempt to help, and I'm dumbstruck by his address. You get in the car that's waiting over there. My men'll take you to the palace. I'll stay with Hugh. I'm sorry, Your Highness, but I have my orders. I don't care about your stupid orders, I shriek at him. I'm staying with Hugh. Francis. Hugh's voice is weak but commanding. Ollie will take care of me, so let the men do their job. Meet your uncle, and do what you came to do. I'll find you afterwards, and... He trails off and gives me a faint smile. My eyes well with tears. Don't die, I say to him, gripping his good hand, not caring that it's crusted with dried blood. Promise me you won't die. I'm not going to die from something like this, he assures me, and I want to believe him. Smile, honey. There's something going on here I should know about, Ollie asks, looking between us suspiciously. Only what it looks like, Hugh says, wincing as he manages to come to his feet. Now let's get this damned bullet out of my shoulder. More agents appear to guide me to the waiting car, and I start to follow them before remembering my bag. I run back, hastily grab it and the gun and carry it with me in defiance of their glares. I clutch it to my middle as I sit in the back seat of the car on either side of two slick-looking men in black suits. Too overwhelmed to acknowledge their presence, I bend double and squeeze my eyes shut, my whole body shuddering with exhaustion and more emotions than I know to name. Like this, I suppose I fall asleep, and I do not wake until one of the men shakes me gently. Princess Francesca, we've arrived. I leave the car to stand bedraggled and weary at the foot of the palace steps, staring dumbly up at the enormous building. It's not my first time seeing it, but this is the closest I've ever gotten to my father's house. Well, I guess it's my house now. I walk on worn, numb feet. My bullet wound is aching as I climb the stairs, and I'm shown inside the grand hall flanked by my guard. It's late, maybe midnight, but several palace aides are up to greet me upon my arrival. And among them I spy not one, but two familiar faces. Dear Francis, Will St. James Sr. greets me with a wide smile. Or should I say, Princess Francesca, what a relief to have you safe in the palace at last. We've been so worried. I stare at him mutely, hardly able to grasp his sudden change in attitude towards me. Of course I know where it stems from, but I don't know if I could ever get used to this man, or anyone really, treating me with anything but disdain. Excuse me, I say, glancing back at the staff assembled. But isn't that my cook, Mrs. Agate? He glances at the crusty-looking woman, who seems not too pleased to be among those forced to assemble at this hour. That's Mrs. Jezebel Agate. She's worked at the palace for years. Of course, all the most prestigious houses in Ratonia have a Mrs. Agate. I myself just acquired one. Truly, I say, staring over my shoulder at her as Will begins leading me through the palace. The resemblance really is uncanny. You must believe me when I say I wasn't in the least shocked when I learned the truth of your identity. I saw your resemblance to our beloved late monarch the very instant I laid eyes on you. You remember me saying it. Of course you remember. Actually, I do recall him saying I resembled someone, though he never specifically said whom. It's possible he did see the resemblance. I see it myself, now that I'm staring at King Leon's enormous portrait hanging on the wall. I see it not just in his coloring, but in our jaw and mouths especially. Enough of a resemblance if one is looking for it to tell we're related, but not so much that I'd be stopped in the street as his look-alike. William has been in an absolute panic since he learned of the danger you were in. It will be an enormous relief for him to hear you've arrived safely. You'll meet him for tea tomorrow, won't you? He's always been fond of you, you know. And it will be good for you to have a friend in the capital. Or perhaps... He smiles widely, all while staring out at me through calculating, snake-black eyes. More than a friend? Wait, this man. Is he really trying to set me up with his son right now? My own sister's ex-fiancé? I see I've barely been a princess for 48 hours, and he's already got his eye on the throne. Excuse me, but I'm very tired. Yes, of course, you must be terribly exhausted. How thoughtless of me. The servants will show you upstairs to your chambers immediately, and tomorrow you shall meet with your uncle. Oh yes, my uncle, Cecil Patel. He held some state office, as I recall, though I suppose they've made him King Regent now. I expect he'll be happy to hear I have every intention of promoting him to full king, just as soon as I can. I come into my chambers, and they are opulent even by my standards, with 2 servants who help me undress, bathe, and dress again in my nightgown. Spying my wound, One of them calls for the palace physician who arrives to treat it, saying it looks remarkably well considering the circumstances. I expect I have Marnie's salve to thank for that. Finished at last with the bedtime ritual, I'm left alone in the big, dark room. I have no words for what I'm feeling right now. I cannot even begin to examine my mental or emotional state. I'm too overwhelmed, too exhausted to consider anything else but the large downy bed that awaits me. Sleep. First, I will sleep. Then tomorrow, well, we'll see what tomorrow holds.
Maybe you'll be lonesome too, like the ocean in a silver plate. See the jungle when it's wet with rain. Just remember till you're home again, you'll belong.